Greetings and salutations, fine people. I'm Patti Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome. So join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Welcome back to The Good Soul. Today's episode is one I really love. First of all, because it's 83, which is one of my all-time favorite numbers, but also more because it reminds all of us that even the simplest choices can make powerful differences in all of our lives. So today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Ed Babcock, owner of Tacos for Life in Mooresville, a restaurant built on the belief that for every meal purchased, hear this, a child in need is fed. We're talking about purpose after retirement, building community through food, and how businesses can be both successful and generous. This is a conversation about nourishment for the body, the soul, and the world we share. Mm-hmm. So Ed, let's get into it.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, first off.
Thank you for being here. Yeah.
This is great.
Well, we got off to a slow start. Manny got stuck in traffic. Our internet was down, and here you are, patient and smiling.
No issues.
So kind.
Thank you.
I couldn't think of anywhere I'd rather be.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's nice to hear. And that's one of my favorite lines. So let's talk a little bit about your history first and what led you up to this place. So childhood, where'd you grow up, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm a product of north central Pennsylvania, little country town, excuse me, same Appalachian Mountains, just a lot further north.
Yes.
And loved growing up in a small town. Met my wife at Penn State. We started our lives together in Pittsburgh, but the magnetism of small town USA sort of drew us back into the area I grew up in. Wow. And so I spent the first 25 years of my career in the business world. And the last 13 of those years, I was an executive in a large telecommunications business. We raised our family in a small town called Coudersport. That business went through some changes. Eventually, we ended up needing to sell it. And actually, the Lord called me into a totally different profession. And so Missy and I found ourselves 25 years after meeting at Penn State back in Happy Valley. And I spent, Happy Valley.
Is Happy Valley the name of the town?
The town's State College, but everybody knows it as Happy Valley.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Penn State.
Yeah, we are, exactly. And so I spent 13 years in the classroom. And what a blessing it was. My career had some peculiarities to it. Our parent company in the years that I was in that telecom business were one of the massive frauds of the early 2000s, sadly.
Wow.
And so...
meaning what? Like...
you remember the names WorldCom, Enron,
and of course, Enron,
and Adelphia. Sadly, Adelphia Communications was a large cable company that was committing fraud. They were our parent company. And
so taking money from investors and misappropriating.
Yeah, it was complicated, and I don't honestly understand all the details. But in the end, it turned out to be one of those things that pivoted me into an area that I trust that the Lord really wanted me. And so I made a big difference in education. I could tell that. Mm-hmm. I come from a family of educators. My dad was the high school principal. My mom was an elementary school teacher.
Wait, what was that like to have your dad as the high school principal?
Oh, I loved it.
You did? Nobody messed with you,
no,
right?
Well, I have this innate ability to figure out how far you can push the envelope without actually breaking it. And so I kind of knew with each teacher just how much I could get away with. Mm-hmm.
So you went to the school, he was the principal?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's really cool.
So that was nice. And again, we grew up in a small area. And so when we ended up down here on retirement, kind of on the backside of COVID, one of our kids with their daughter, our granddaughter, moved down this way. We had friends that had been down here for a long time, and we thought this might be an area that we wanted to move to. But when we got here, it felt very large.
Yeah.
And that was different for us.
Hang on. How many kids?
So we have 3 kids.
Okay.
David, Eric, and Tessa, but we really think of it as 6. So 3 biological, 3 God's chosen children.
Of course.
We don't use the term in-law.
You don't use it. Okay.
No. And then we have 5 grandchildren.
5 grandchildren.
2, and 1. Our baby girl had a baby girl about 3 months ago. And she's precious. Thank you. And so, so it's pretty awesome. 2 of them are now down in Florida. 2 of them are here in Mooresville. And then the final family is up in outside of DC.
Oh, okay. So pretty close.
Yeah, not too bad. All of them are manageable trips for sure.
Yeah.
We're a very tight-knit, close family. And when we get into the Tacos for Life conversation, there was a season where our oldest son and his wife, who now live in Florida, were a part of the business with us. But they just decided that the restaurant business probably wasn't going to be conducive to the way they wanted to raise their family. Yeah. And we understood that.
You put that so beautifully.
Yeah. It was,
all right, 2 more questions before we move forward.
Yeah.
What was your function? Was it accountant?
Yeah. So I have an accounting degree. Most of my business career was in financial roles, finance and accounting type roles. I was the chief financial officer for a large telecom business for about 8 or 10 of those final years. And then at Penn State, I wore several hats. I was in the classroom. I also oversaw accounting. I also oversaw our Masters of Accounting program. And we used to joke that at every graduation, as the kids would come across and shake my hand, that they were all more educated than I was. I actually never had need for a degree beyond my undergraduate degree, which people thought was bizarre that I could teach at Penn State. And again, it was just a really cool God story, how doors opened. And he called me to that mission field. And I just absolutely loved every second of it. And
I don't think you even need a bachelor's degree to teach at a college. There are certain field experiences that will enable you to teach at certain universities.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and actually, I have a friend who, what?
I was just saying, put the microphone.
Oh, he's like, give me hand signals. I'm like, what? And I have a friend who doesn't have her bachelor's and is getting her MBA because of all the field experience she has, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what brought you guys to Mooresville? We have a minute.
Yeah, so from my telecom days, the guy that I partnered with, the CEO, through that really difficult transaction of getting away from our corporate parent, he and his wife moved down here. They live in the Point in 2009. Missy and I would come down. We would visit once or twice a year. Every visit would end up the same way. We'd sit on their back patio, we'd be overlooking the lake. She'd be having a glass of wine, and I'd say, what time are we leaving in the morning? And she would tear up and say, why can't we just stay?
Sounds like my sister and I.
During COVID, when I was teaching remotely on Zoom, we came down, and just to escape some of the craziness of the Northeast.
Yeah.
And we stayed a couple extra days, and we started traveling around a little bit, and we ended up buying a piece of property over on the northwest side of the lake in Sherrills Ford.
Okay.
And so it was my son and his wife, when they had a baby, they were aware that we had that property. And they actually moved here first, and they said, Dad, when are you going to retire? And my wife looked at me and said, yeah, Ed, when are you going to retire? And I said, well, apparently sooner than I expected, but and here we are. We came down late 2021. Between ourselves and my sister's family, I think we have 5 families here now. So we joke we're part of the problem.
That's a great story. But Ed, we have to wrap up this first segment.
Yeah.
So wow, we could probably do a whole show on you alone.
No, we don't want to do that.
Guys, don't go away. We'll see you for segment 2 here on The Good Soul. Thanks for being here. This segment of The Good Soul is brought to you by Aaron Fisnick, certified luxury home specialist with Ivester Jackson Christie's International Real Estate. Aaron serves all levels of the greater Lake Norman region real estate market, and whether buying or selling, she is very much the lady who will deliver like no other. Many of us at Good Soul are also really happy clients. Aaron can be reached at 704-728-5657 or reach out to me and I'll get you guys connected. Thank you, Aaron Fisnick, and thank you guys for tuning in and supporting The Good Soul. Welcome back, everybody, to The Good Soul. We are on episode 3, and it's titled Tacos for Life. And we are having so much fun here with Ed, and I am so excited to learn more about you. And but we only have a limited amount of time, so let's talk about how you were introduced to the whole concept of Tacos for Life.
Sure. Yeah. So on retirement, I did really feel like the Lord was saying rest. One of the harder things for me to do. I'm pretty active and got a lot of energy still. And in that time, I found that, well, first off, Missy and I have been very involved with the ministry for many years called Feed My Starving Children. And what Feed My Starving Children does is they send a fairly simple meal formulation all around the globe. Last year, they sent 450 million meals to children that candidly would perish without this food.
So what do you mean a simple meal formation? What is that?
Scoop of rice, a scoop of soy, a scoop of dried vegetables, and a scoop of a special vitamin formulation that they've worked on over the years. And in that bag, there are 6 meals. When it's cooked up, it looks like porridge and it tastes like ramen noodles. And
ramen noodles.
Sounds yummy.
One meal a day will sustain a child who would otherwise starve to death. And not only sustain, but allow that child to learn, allow that child to grow physically, emotionally. And the ministry basically says, look, we can't speak to their soul until their tummy's full. And so the express purpose of the ministry is to introduce them to Jesus. But they recognize that if a child is starving to death, they can't concentrate on anything.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing ministry, and we've been involved with it for a lot of years. So we went to a global partner conference to meet some of the people that distribute the food around the world. And in that, we met a young man and his father who had started a restaurant business out in Arkansas called Tacos for Life. And the express purpose of Tacos for Life is to do just that, to sell food, to provide a good meal to their community, to be a good part of the community, but in doing that, to give to Feed My Starving Children. So every taco, every enchilada, every burrito, whatever that we sell, every catering that we do, we give money to Feed My Starving Children, and we call it meal for meal. You come buy 2 tacos, we're going to send, and they just auto draft it out of our account. We're going to send them enough money to pay for 2 of those meals that are going to these kids around the world.
Right.
Wow.
And that's
Do we know what the cost is per meal?
29 cents a meal. I know, it's unbelievable. So we can feed a child for an entire year. They only need 1 meal for $109 and keep that child alive.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh,
it's so amazing. Can
people donate?
Beautiful.
We want people at Tacos for Life, but can they also donate to, is it Feed a Starving Child?
Feed My Starving Children, fmsc.org. And they have a really interesting model. And the reason that we first got involved with them is our church back in Pennsylvania did what they call a food pack. We actually do those now here at the Cove, which is our church here in Mooresville, down in Langtree, where they bring the food in bulk, and you get volunteers from your church. We pay for the cost of the food, and we bring enough volunteers, like 500, and we pack 150,000 meals in a weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, and they put it back on the truck and they send it around the globe.
Around the globe.
Oh,
and, anybody who would be interested in learning more about FMSC, please come see us. But even if you come and buy dinner at Tacos for Life, we have a lot of people do this. They're regulars. They understand. They're drawn to the mission. I mean, much like you invited me here for that reason. And they'll say, hey, double my impact. And by all we do is hit a button, and then we pay an extra 29 cents.
So it's a whole 58 cents instead of 29 cents.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so it's really fascinating. In fact, I think I have one in my pocket. You won't be able to see it. These are actually for you guys, but it's really cool. We give out free taco cards, right? But they're not free. If you notice, you have to pay 29 cents. Why?
Right.
Because we want you to feed that child.
Yeah.
We're just the conduit.
Yeah.
We're not the ones that are really doing it. That's why I said this is not about me.
Yeah.
This is about our community. This community is so unbelievably generous.
Can I see one?
Yeah, you can. They're for you, actually.
Yeah.
And so we're unapologetic to say, yeah, your food costs 29 cents more for that taco. Why? Because you're buying a meal for that child.
That's beautiful, man.
And so we're grateful for the platform and the opportunity, and we've had an amazing response from the community in terms of people saying, yeah. One of the things that is most interesting that I hear is, yeah, but we have so many issues around us locally too. And I said, you're absolutely right. And so we've been blessed to be able to be involved with some really great ministries here locally as well. And the restaurant just provides a platform. So going all the way back to that earlier comment about, I grew up in a small town, the son of a principal, kind of big fish in a small pond kind of thing. This platform has provided a means to make Mooresville small and to get connected to things that really matter. So, Feed NC is an example. There's a wonderful ministry that we're really involved with up in Statesville called Power Cross. We absolutely love.
One of my teachers here is there every week, cooking, packing, and tomorrow night, Thursday night, I think she has the Christmas party.
Thursday night, the Christmas party down to Cove. We'll be there.
Yeah.
And that's an absolutely fabulous annual event. But it's been a really great opportunity to get connected to things that matter locally, but also make a difference globally.
Sure. Okay. So when you say locally, is the Tacos for Life mission directly impacting local charities, or is that more you on a personal level?
That's more us.
You on a personal.
Yeah, that's a little bit more Missy and I kind of using the Tacos for Life platform to say, how can we bless and honor your efforts as well. Sure. And so we've gotten pretty close to several of these ministries. And in fact, when, so Thursday night's the Power Cross Christmas party, but Wednesday evening, we're actually taking 180 meals worth of, well, actually 360 meals, 180 kids, food up to Power Cross and feeding the kids tacos.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, which will be awesome because and that's a really good example.
Awesome. Awesome, man.
So the people
give you a big hug right now.
Like locally, locally people will come to a place like Power Cross or Feed NC. I've been to Feed NC and I don't think you've been. I'd love to take you there. It's awesome. Unbelievable facility where there's a huge dining area, kitchen, a store, like that. Not even what would you call it? A pantry.
Yeah, but it
looks like a food store. Where
here's the thing about Feed NC: you walk through the doors, and these are folks who are just, for reasons that we don't need to judge. They're just down on their luck. They just need a hand. Right? And there's a lot of people out there who just need a hand.
See people being down.
Yeah, it happens.
And you walk through those doors, and you're just absolutely overwhelmed by the word dignity. They treat people with dignity. So you go into their shopping area and it's organized and it's neat and it's good food and so Donahue's, which is the restaurant, actually in early January, I think it's the 6th, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take over several hundred, probably 300 or 400 meals worth of food
at Feed
NC.
They call it Donahue's, the name of the restaurant?
The restaurant inside is called Donahue's. The Donahue family made a very generous donation and said, and it's free. You go in there and you eat and it's free. Now, if you have means and you're touched by the ministry, then sure, leave a donation. But if you just want to go and have lunch somewhere, that's fine too.
We have to go have lunch and leave.
Oh yeah,
like a bucket of money.
I'll get you the date. I'm pretty sure it's January 6th that we're going to do the same kind of thing, and we're guesstimating, and they'll be wonderful in terms of promoting it. And and again, it's just an opportunity to say, yes, we care about the needs locally too. Yeah. And so, the restaurant, the ministry has been a wonderful platform to just say we care. Tomorrow, we'll send down 75 meals to Charlotte for Watchmen on the Street, which is just a wonderful ministry too.
They hand out food on the street. It's not a location.
To people that are just again, it's so easy for us to sort of go by somebody and judge them. But who are we to say? You know? And if they just need a hand, give them a hand.
Yeah, you don't know what anybody's going through.
Right. We never know what people are going through.
Right.
period.
So that's what this is all about.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who's judging at that point, I mean, yeah, I feel more sorry for them than I do the underserved.
Problems they're judging.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you met this person, you were at a conference.
Yeah.
For we
were at the Feed My Starving Children.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Conference, which was wonderful. And we met Austin and his dad, Mark. Samuelson is their last name.
Mm-hmm.
And they have about 15-ish owned restaurants in the Arkansas area. They started in a town by the name of Conway outside Little Rock.
Okay.
And it all started because Austin and his wife, Ashton, were on a mission trip. And they were feeding kids. And they reached down into the barrel and last scoop. And there were still 100 kids in line. And those kids didn't have anything to eat that day. And they had no food the next day. Okay. And they came home and they were just broken. And they said, this is not right.
That's our sound. That's our sign.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to hit pause, put a pin in that.
Okay.
Because guys, in just a few minutes, we'll be back here. But don't go away.
Thanks.
Want a little bit more rainbows and unicorns in your life? Start your day with Good Soul Daily. Every morning, you'll find me in your inbox where I share a quick story, lesson, or quote to spark joy and inspiration. Come join our hundreds of daily readers and let's step into our new day together with my lighthearted, Pollyannic approach. I would be honored if you'd allow me into your heart and head where you are sure to be delighted and inspired. Text me over your email address to 704-618-7993 for your daily dose of happiness and reassurance that life is pretty darn awesome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Good Soul. We're on episode 83. And this is one of my most longest awaited podcasts. We were texting back and forth and texting back and forth. We had Sandy on from Hoptown, and she was like, you have to have Ed on. Yeah. Isn't she wonderful, Sandy?
She is indeed. She and Scott both.
Yeah.
We love them.
Well, I never met him, but she is just, when she sat here, it was like, I want to be your friend, I'm like, we got to go out I have to get lunch, but we're both very busy. Anyway, back to what we're talking about, Tacos for Life. So we left off talking about how you got turned on to the concept of it. And what I want to know is, after deciding to retire, what made you decide to open a restaurant? The last business anyway.
Start the motor up.
It's so funny because it's an incredibly simple answer, but at the end of the day, it can feel really complex. The simplicity to the answer is, when God calls you to do something, say yes. Just say yes. Because if you don't say yes, you'll probably look back over time and say, why all these complications in my life?
I should have said yes.
Now, it doesn't mean you won't have complications. And honestly, I'm not a restaurateur, never had any background in it, way over my head. Like I said, my oldest son was involved for a while and came to realize, wow, this is not what I thought it was. And I get that. And they made the right decision for their family, and we support that. Mm-hmm. And we now have professionals that are running it day to day. And so my role, I always imagined being cheerleader and ambassador. I'm pretty good at those two things. Mm-hmm. I'm not very good at making tacos. And after a while, they all start looking the same to me. But I'm delighted that we said yes. We live our whole lives recognizing and understanding that everything that we quote unquote say we have is not ours anyway. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't very intentionally and consciously think about the parable of the three stewards. And, I want to be recognized as that first steward, the one that did well with what God entrusted to him.
Is there a brief way to explain the parable of the three stewards?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the rich master, right, gave to three of his servants a different value of things. And the first two invested well, and the third essentially hid it under a stone. Mm-hmm. And when the master came back, and of course the parable meaning, when God came back, and looked, and he said to the first and the second, well done. You've invested well. To you I will entrust more. and to the third he called wicked. And that's a scary term, because, and as I recall scripture saying, that the person, the third steward said, but I have what you gave me. And he said, yeah, but I entrusted it to you for so much more. And so, it was a big investment. It was a big decision. There are days when, I kind of shake my head and say, what are we doing? There's no question that Missy and I we joke about it. We called our Abraham and Sarah moment where we said, we're too old for this. What are we thinking? But it's okay. We have wonderful folks that are taking care of things day to day. We have an opportunity to be there. We have an opportunity to utilize the platform for good. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So back to what you were asking earlier, we do support Feed My Starving Children financially, and we could have just done that. And I suppose I could look at the math and say, geez, maybe I should have just done that in terms of the investment. But the reality of it is that every single day, our community is helping keep alive 600 to 700 kids because they come and eat with us at Tacos for Life. I'd like to see that number be 1,000. Not because we'll make more money at Tacos for Life, because that's not what it's about. And we won't. The whole idea is to sort of give back, to give it
you're
away.
doing this. Well, here's my money, and then here's it.
Yeah. And that's
how many children does Feed My Starving Children feed annually? Do we know?
Yeah. So last year they sent, Feed My Starving Children sent 450 million meals around the
400. Globe. And are there targeted specific areas, or is it?
It's all around the globe. It varies. So places like Haiti, who have the Philippines, a lot of countries in Africa, the Ukraine, for several years now has been a point of focus. There's need. There is so much need out there, and we have so much, and so when you can get the platforms like theirs, where it's like 96 cents on the dollar goes directly to the food, and the amazing thing about it is they figured out a model where essentially they leverage the resources, the time, talent, and treasures of others to facilitate getting the food to where they can ship it. And then the only cost to the receiving organization is the cost of shipment. So a large container. So yeah, Tacos for Life now, life to date, I don't have the exact number, but it's like 32 million meals they've contributed over the last 10 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And how long you guys have been open? Just
over a year. In fact, we celebrated. If people come to the restaurant, you'll see a big poster board there. We celebrated the fact that our 1-year anniversary, we were just over 300,000 meals contributed to the ministry.
That is something to really be proud of, Ed.
Yeah, so you do that math. Again, it's not about me at all, but that's like we kept 800 kids alive. And, I'm going to harken back a little bit. When I was a very young professional, I was given the opportunity to go to Haiti. It was an audit. And it was an audit of a hospital that was supported by the Mellon family and their foundation in Pittsburgh. And it was an incredible experience. And to see some of the things that I saw in that 10-day period, and of course it was before cell phones and before, this is back in the 80s. And I came home and the person who had asked me to go, my boss, said, I want you to go to this fancy luncheon at a place in Pittsburgh called the Duquesne Club. It's a real fancy place. And it's about global impact. And just go and just immerse yourself in that. And I did that. And we were sitting at a table, and it was a wonderful experience for a while. And then there was an attorney who I'd actually worked with some, and he was there, and we were talking over lunch, and his wife was sitting there with him. And I'll never forget this. I was 25 years old. And I was talking about what the impact that the Mellon family was making. And she looked at me and said, but why would they do that? So that people would have to live in that godforsaken place. And you said about crying. And I just lost it. I just
Yeah.
said, I'm sorry. I have to excuse myself because I knew that I was going to embarrass myself and everybody else in the room.
Going off.
But it impacted me in a powerful way because I thought, sadly, there are people in this world that are so self-absorbed that they can't see past themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, I don't want to be one of those people.
No.
And I'm obsessed with that first face-to-face with Jesus. And I want so badly to hear, well done, good and faithful servant.
Aww.
That's it. That's it. That's what drives us. That's what motivates us. That's our, that's it.
Yeah, that's very
That's it.
nice. That's beautiful.
So hopefully that'll happen.
I think so. And there's a reason why, I think that there's a reason why that God put that woman in front of you at that table.
Yeah. I hope that somebody awakened her soul at some point in her life for her benefit.
I also don't think, like you were talking about the 3 servants.
Yeah.
I also think that there is the servant, right?
Yeah.
That the servant, it's fear.
Yeah.
Hoarding.
Exactly.
It's fear. When people are not generous with their things, their money, their fortune, it's fear. And it's sad for them.
Exactly right.
It's not, Manny, if it's like, don't spend too much money. I'm like, but life has been extremely good to me. And, God knows I'm not perfect, and God knows I'm not sitting on mountains of money, but any opportunity I get, like you said, well, I don't want to sound like I'm all virtuous over here, trying to be all cool next to my new friend, Ed. You want to give, and it's, whether it's the one-on-one, the face-to-face, or the kid that's in Haiti, or the kid that's starving in the Ukraine. It's beautiful what you're doing. And I'm very inspired by you.
There's a saying out there. You just used the word, fear can't coexist with faith. And so you got to pick. If you pick fear, then you can't expect to have deep-rooted faith.
On that note,
deep-rooted faith. We're done.
Oh, no,
on that note, we're going to continue. We're going to start the next segment with fear and faith can't exist. So guys, don't go away. We'll be back. I don't want this to end. I want there to be like 12 segments.
Yeah, this is awesome.
See you in a few on The Good Soul. Who isn't looking to get happy and healthy and empower themselves in an extraordinary fitness community? At Good Soul Hot Yoga, we offer life-changing yoga, strength training, cycling, and relaxing therapeutic classes that will make everything in your life feel better. For some power, balance, and peace of mind, we will deliver. Come experience our spa-like wonderland in the center of Mooresville. We will become your happy place. Welcome back to The Good Soul, everybody. Episode 83, Tacos for Life. This has been such a journey. It goes quick, but I feel like we've learned so much because you're really so good at getting your thoughts out. So we left off with faith and fear, which I so rudely cut you off.
No, not at all. No, it's something that I don't even know where I picked it up, but it's so true that that faith and fear, they don't coexist with each other. And it's a matter of choice, right? I think it's true that sometimes it feels like less of a choice than maybe it really is. But if you're focused on your fears, it just squelches faith. On the other hand, if you can really tap into deep water faith, there's no need for fear. And we've just seen it time and time again. I mean, there have been seasons in our life not too long ago where I've recognized that really leaning into the scriptural truth that all things work together for the good of those who love him according to his purposes. And we know that to be true. I can look back on my life and see some really scary times. And sometimes this restaurant is one of those. Like I said, it's just outside of my comfort zone. But I also see how faithfully the people that are involved in it are serving that mission, and kids are being fed around the globe, here locally. People have good jobs. Folks come in, they feel like it's a safe place. I mean, you'll routinely see our staff praying with employees, or I mean, with customers, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I've invited people to, just do a prayer walk, because it matters.
Wow.
And so,
I have a question.
Yeah.
That, you talked a lot. Dave is your son, right?
Yeah.
So you talked a lot about the similarities between the two of you before.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walked in, I said, you guys look alike. But perhaps you might have done the same thing when you were his age that he did in his position with his wife, and saying, you know what, maybe this isn't right for my family. And I think that's really powerful for us to kind of understand and convey that how we change over time. Like would 30-year-old Ed, how would you have handled that pressure?
The funny thing is, at his age, I probably wouldn't even have thought that it was something that would have been of value. And we talk about that all the time. In our family, we have a little saying: the present is not the permanent. And we all go through seasons, right?
Yeah.
And we grow through those seasons. And honestly, I know that he and Kaylee really thought that, hey, this is going to be a great mission field for us. But I don't think that it's fair to understand, if you've never done it before, to understand, with two young children, the demands. And I actually really appreciated the fact that they were able to come to that realization without it, ending up being destructive.
Yeah. Well, that's what could happen. And especially in that hustle and bustle, that momentum of the restaurant business.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. No, I give him a lot of credit, and I give you a lot of credit too, because it's a chaotic business.
Yeah. And not every part of it was easy.
It never,
but that's life.
Yeah.
That's life.
Easy.
Yeah. That's life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. And why Mooresville? Did you consider Cheryl's Forge, Troutman, Statesville? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, even though we live over in Cheryl's Ford, we've always felt like most connected to Mooresville. I will say that I love our location on one level because it's a little bit away from the hustle and bustle of 150. We're off Williamson Road, kind of in that area where Harris Teeter is. But we're also a little off the beaten path. And so one of the things that I have found in this year plus is that most of the folks who come see us, it's with intentionality and probably not as much impulse. Hey, let's
passersby.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we probably need to do a little bit better job with that, because one of the things that I focus on when I'm in there is, have you been here with us before? Because I love to tell the story, and I've figured out a way to do it in a 30-second elevator speech, taking an order.
Break it down.
Yeah, taking an order kind of thing. But it's remarkable the number of people that, we tag them FTG, first time guests.
Okay.
And
is that in your computer system? So like
it's the way, it is. And it's amazing the number of people that just embrace the mission if they understand it.
Yeah.
And so, that has to be one of our areas of focal point, because that's the purpose.
Do you have any customers or circumstances that ever really stood out to you? Did like Dale Jr. come in and drop $5,000 or anything, like any crazy like epiphanies that people have had while coming in?
That's funny you ask. I have not met Dale Jr. I would love for him to come in.
I'm going to hold you to that,
so
DJ.
Dale, if you're watching this, the funny thing about it is that, again, when Dave and Kaylee were here, I think that their daughter and Dale's daughter went to preschool together at Williamson Chapel. And so I always would say to Kaylee, well, get him over here for crying out loud.
Come on. Yeah.
And so, we had a few connections that way, but no, I would say the ones that have been most meaningful for me have been folks that I have come in, and for one reason or other, I've just discerned in my heart that, they might benefit from some prayer. And I haven't had a single person, I've had this happen multiple times, I haven't had a single person that hasn't said, yes, please, would you pray with me? And I don't do that so that they'll come back and eat more tacos. I do that because I believe that God's asking me to do that. And those are the things that have been most meaningful for me. in addition to being able to get a deeper connection with some of the local ministries that I think that we can partner well with, that we align with well.
So when you say you want to partner with a local ministry, what would that look like?
Yeah, so Feed NC is a good example. We're really trying to accomplish the same thing, but just and so we everything from we've evaluated hiring. They have a program where they actually take young people through learning how to work and run a restaurant business.
Okay.
And so we're working now on like internship type things, job shadowing.
Okay.
We're going to do the Donahue's lunch.
Course. Yes,
in early
that.
January. And my hope is that we'll do that kind of like once a quarter or so. I think for a lot of people that come in there and eat, that'll be a treat. Yeah. That's not the typical kind of thing that they would eat. Same with Power Cross. They've got the facility in Statesville. They've got another facility in Salisbury. And the idea of feeding those kids at least, a few times a year, maybe more, is really, really exciting to me.
Absolutely.
I've had an opportunity to meet some of these young men who have been in the program for a bunch of years, and it's literally changed their lives. In some cases, these are kids that just don't have a father in their life. Apart from something like Power Cross, they wouldn't have the kind of discipline that's necessary to kind of get on the right track. Yeah. And so anything that we can do to come alongside those kinds of things, I think that's the calling that we've experienced.
I want to circle back to what we had talked about, and it might not have been in the first segment. It might have been before we turned the camera on, that when somebody's hungry, you're not going to get their attention.
Yeah.
And there's no more fundamental need in this world than to make sure that a person is properly nourished.
Yeah.
So what a powerful, powerful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right? The things that we absolutely need to have are food and shelter and clothing.
Yeah.
Those are the three things that are our needs, and everything beyond that is kind of a want to have that we recharacterize here in this country as needs. And so, that's at the core of it. That's really been the mission, is to say, if we can attend to that, then the other things will sort of materialize. And that we really didn't come up with that. That's not Missy and me. That's embracing Feed My Starving Children's, basic purpose.
Yeah, but you're really doing a great job at being a voice for that when you're passionate about it, not just we were talking about, I said on the break, you should be a pastor and you have to have the calling, you have a call. This was a calling for you. Yeah. And it's very clear.
Thank you.
One question I like to ask everybody before we wrap up the show is, what does being a good soul mean to you?
Oh, wow. What a great question. To me, so you're getting right to the heart of the matter of my Christian faith, right? The first and foremost, most important decision that you can make in your life is to invite Jesus to be in that soul of yours. Now, I understand that not everybody would embrace that same view, but to me, you ask it as to me, it starts there.
Okay, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, and for me, that happened at 34. I had lots of knowledge up here between my ears, but there was a void here, and so that has allowed me to sort of reframe kind of the rest of my life. That's the easiest way to say it, is that now I see things through Christ's eyes as opposed to just my own.
Okay. Ed, I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to call you back because I think we have to have more conversation. This was really
I would
so
absolutely
fulfilling.
love that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Like, share, comment. We're on 105.9, of course, Tuesdays from 4 to 5, and you can catch us on all your major platforms. I hope you're as inspired as I am by this great man. So thank you, Ed. Aww. Visit Tacos for Life. Feed My Starving Children. Also, you can Google that and give back in any way you can. 29 cents will feed It's what a child. I mean,
$109 keeps a kid alive for a year.
A year. That's
hard to
really
believe.
powerful stuff. So,
Yeah.
guys, peace. Thanks for being
Thank
here. And
you.
again, thank you.
Thank you.